Good morning, respected members, and hello, dear students. Hi, this is CA Pratik. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, GST and Customs Act Fun Learn. Today, I'm not going to discuss about GST. Today, I'm not going to discuss about custom. Then, I'm going to discuss a new tax. In income tax collected at source with effect from 1st of October 2020. This is already introduced. I had prepared one basic video on this topic of TCS few days back, but that was all basic. Today's lecture, it is all about case studies and FAQ. I prepared detailed case study in 3 parts. See, part 1 case study will be applicability for TCS. When the TCS shall be attracted, who is required to collect, who is required to pay, is there any turnover limit, everything will be covered in this. The second case study will be regarding compliance, interest, late fee, TCS return, etc. And third will be sector specific case study, immovable property, TCS applicable, mutual fund, TCS applicable, shares and all, jewelry, TCS applicable. What are the other sectors on which TCS is applicable? Okay, so this topic is a big topic, entire I prepared through case studies. Whatever queries you will have, all will be resolved through this. So let's move to TCS under Income Tax Act, 1st October 2020. So in income tax from 1st October 2020, a new tax is born, tax collected at source, section 206C, subsection 1H. Now there are plenty of queries, FAQ, case studies, everything we are going to cover. What is the time limit? What is the due date? Who is required to pay TCS? Every question must be running. We will understand everything through case study. Case study 1. Who is responsible to TCS and who is responsible to pay TCS? Understand. Suppose I am a supplier. To this particular receiver, I have sold certain goods. Now, from this receiver, I will collect the goods value also. And from this receiver, I will collect TCS also. Whatever TCS I have collected, I shall pay to the government. So what the conclusion comes? Supplier shall collect TCS from the buyer and it shall pay to the government. So just like GST, supplier shall collect TCS and pay to the government. Okay, so this is the first point. Who is responsible? Suppliers of goods are responsible. Now, case study 2. Whether TCS is to be collected by every supplier, whether you are supplier of goods as well as you are supplier of service, everyone is required to collect. No, listen. Only the supplier of goods is required to collect TCS. I repeat, only the supplier of goods are required to collect TCS. If you are a supplier of services, CA, advocate, make my trip, Paytm, whatever, there is no question of TCS. Supplier of services are not required to collect TCS. It is only on goods. Correct? Case study 3. Whether every supplier of goods are required to collect TCS, even small supplier, or is there any turnover limit? Every supplier is required to collect. Listen, supplier of the goods whose turnover in the preceding financial year exceed rupees 10 crore. Every supplier of goods whose turnover in the preceding financial year 1920 exceed rupees 10 crore, then only they are required to collect. Not for small supplier. So suppose he is a supplier in the financial year 1920's turnover exceed rupees 10 crore, TCS provisions are applicable from 1st October. So for small supplier, TCS provisions are not applicable. Only if your turnover is greater than 10 crore, TCS is applicable. Okay, now case study 4. Suppose my turnover in the preceding financial was greater than 10 crore. So I became liable. But now next query to government. So from 1st October 20, in future, if I sell even 1 rupee goods to the buyer, will TCS be applicable? Will TCS be applicable? See, government says TCS is applicable if the net value of consideration received from the buyer exceed rupees 50 lakhs. So this is the second condition. My turnover was greater than 10. That condition is satisfied. And second is what? TCS is applicable where consideration received from the buyer, each buyer, that particular buyer, exceed rupees 50 lakh, then only TCS is applicable. Okay, so suppose I'm a supplier to this receiver, my first invoice is there of say 30 lakh. Okay, I've sold goods of 30 lakh. He paid me 30 lakh. It is only 30 lakh, below 50 lakh. At the moment, no TCS. Now in the same financial year, I have raised them second invoice. Again, I have sold goods of 10 lakh. 30 plus 10 is 40 lakh, still below 50 lakh. He paid me 10 lakh. again TCS is not applicable. Now in the same financial year, I have raised third invoice, value rupees 20 lakh. Now total comes to 60 lakh. He will pay me 20 lakh. Now the TCS shall be attracted since the value has exceeded 50 lakh. Now TCS shall be attracted since the value has exceeded 50 lakh. So how many invoice I had given? 3 invoice. So on what value TCS shall be attracted in the given case? On what value TCS shall be attracted? See, I had given 3 invoice in the same financial year. Okay, first was 30 lakh, second was 10 lakh, and third was 20. So total was 60 lakh. Now understand the main point. Whether TCS will be applicable on entire 60 lakh? No, up to 50 lakh. From each receiver, there is no TCS. How much I have received? 60 lakh. So only on balance 10 lakh, TCS shall be applicable. This is the main point. Up to 50 lakh, there is no TCS. Only on balance 10 lakh, TCS shall be applicable. So this is the condition. This is the main point of taxation, you can say. Correct? First, my turnover in the preceding year should be greater than 10 crore. Second, consideration received should be greater than 50 lakh from that particular receiver, particular buyer. If it exceeds 50 lakh, TCS is not applicable on entire value, only on the value exceeding rupees 50 lakh. Okay, so what the conclusion come? Suppose to this receiver, in the financial year 2021, I have raised 100 invoice. Okay, but total value is only 20 lakh. Will TCS be applicable? No. Whatever 20 lakh I have received, TCS is not applicable because consideration is less than 50 lakh. Okay, to the second receiver. In the same financial year, I have raised 50 invoice. Total value is say 40 lakh. He paid me 40 lakh. Will TCS be applicable? Still no, because consideration is below 50 lakh. No TCS. But to this third receiver, in the same financial average, only 5 invoice, but the value is 60 lakh. He paid me 60 lakh. Now will TCS be attracted? Yes, now TCS is attracted. But on what value? On entire 60? No. Up to 50 lakh, no TCS. And on balance 10 lakh, TCS shall be applicable. Correct? So every supplier of goods, not service, supplier of goods is required to collect TCS from 1st October 20 when the consideration from the buyer, from that particular buyer exceed rupees 50 lakh. Exceed rupees 50 lakh. Also, TCS is applicable on value exceeding rupees 50 lakh. Okay, up to 50 lakh, no TCS. Now, what is the event for the collection of TCS? I was again and again emphasizing on consideration. Main point. What is the event for the collection of TCS? When I sell the goods to the buyer or receiver, or when I receive the consideration from the receiver? What do you think? See, I sold goods to the receiver of rupees 60 lakh. When? On 1st July. Correct. But I have received rupees 60 lakh when? On 1st December 2020. So I am seeking answer from you. When the TCS shall be attracted, on 1st July 20 or on 1st December 20? Answer is TCS is applicable. But on what date? On 1st July when I have sold the goods, or on 1st December when I have received the consideration? Government says whenever you receive the consideration, TCS is applicable. Date of sale of goods is immaterial. Whenever you receive the consideration, and if you have received the consideration after 1st October 20, then only TCS is applicable. Okay, so please understand it is not on sale of goods. It is only on the consideration received, and that also received after October 20, exceeding rupees 50 lakh. Okay, now what is the rate of TCS? Rate of TCS is 0.1, only 0.1% for the amount exceeding rupees 50 lakh. And because of COVID, this rate has further reduced. This rate has further reduced from 1st October 20 to 31st March 21. The rate is 0.075%. Okay, so government has given the benefit of 0.075 percentage. Okay. Now, next and most important case study, please understand this. Next, all the case studies, all advanced case studies that are prepared are on this point. Okay, suppose I'm a supplier of goods. He is a receiver. Now I have sold goods of say 80 lakh rupees. How much? 80 lakh rupees I have sold the goods to this receiver. Okay, now what happened? He paid me 60 lakh rupees prior to October 2020, prior to applicability of TCS. And he paid me rupees 20 lakh. after 1st October 2020. This is going to happen, common scenario, because it has come in the middle of the year. Now my query to all of you, will TCS be attracted since the consideration received after October is below rupees 50 lakh? Will the TCS be attracted in this case? What do you think? After October 20, you have received below 50 lakh, only 20 lakh. See what CBDT has clarified. Please understand. TCS is applicable where consideration received in relation to sale of good for a particular receiver in a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh. In a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh. So understand, my total consideration in financial year 2020, how much I have received? 80 lakhs. I have received 60 lakh in same financial year. I have received 20 lakh also in the same financial year. So my total consideration is 80 lakhs. So CBDT clarified, whatever consideration you have received prior to October, no TCS. Agreed. So on 60 lakh, no TCS. But your total consideration is greater than 50. Total consideration is greater than 50. So TCS is applicable. Whatever you have received prior to October, no 20. But whatever consideration received after October 20, if the value of total value is exceeding 50 lakh, hence whatever 20 lakh I have received after October 20, TCS shall be applicable on 20 lakh. So 1% TCS I am required to collect from the receiver on this 20 lakh. This is the main point which is very confusing. See, suppose I am a supplier. Total consideration in financial year 2021 from a receiver, if I received total consideration prior to October and after October, total in financial year 2021, if it exceed 50 lakh, TCS is applicable. TCS is applicable. I have to collect TCS from that receiver. But on what value? Any amount that I have collected prior to October, no TCS. No TCS. That is good point. But whatever value I collect after October, since the total value exceeds 50 lakh, whatever value I'm collecting after October 20, TCS shall be applicable on that value. So this is the main point. This was the main point which you need to understand. This problem shall persist only in this financial year. From subsequent financial year, this problem will not be there because TCS come in the middle of the year, 1st October 2020. That's why this problem is there. Okay, now if you understand this query, let's move to all the advanced case studies. There are 18 to 20 case studies which are going to discuss. Okay, chalo, let's move. So let's move to advanced case studies in relation to TCS. Case study 1, see the query. It is asking, is TCS applicable on sale of goods or on the receipt of consideration? Query number 1. Suppose my turnover in the preceding financial year was 12 crore, greater than 10 crore. To this particular buyer, I have sold goods of rupees 60 lakh on 1st of August 2020. When I have sold the goods, August 2020. But consideration I have received of rupees 52 lakh when? On 5th of October 2020. My query, when the TCS will be attracted on 1st August or on 5th October? Also, on what value the TCS shall be attracted? See this. TCS is applicable on the date of receipt of the consideration in excess of rupees 50 lakh. It is mentioning date of receipt of the consideration. It is not saying date of sale of goods. So when I have received the consideration on 5th of October. So when the TCS will be applicable on 5th of October 2020. Now second query. On what value TCS shall be attracted? On entire 52 lakh? No. Up to 50 lakh, there is no TCS. So only on balance 2 lakh, TCS shall be attracted. So from this receiver, I have to collect TCS only on rupees 2 lakh. Correct? So this was our first case study. Now let's move to second case study. Is TCS applicable if entire consideration is received after 1st of October 2020? See the query. My turnover in the preceding financial year was 15 crore, greater than 10 crore. Hence TCS is applicable. To this particular buyer or receiver, I have sold goods of rupees 80 lakhs. When? On 1st July 2020, prior to October 2020, prior to applicability of TCS, I have sold goods of 80 lakhs. But when he has paid me money on 15th October after the applicability of TCS, will the TCS be attracted? If yes, when? and also on what value. Okay, see the solution. TCS is applicable where the consideration received in relation to sale of goods in a financial year after 1st October 2020 exceed rupees 50 lakh. So if you receive the consideration in a financial year and some consideration has come after 1st October which exceeds rupees 50 lakh, TCS shall be attracted. So in the given case, consideration of rupees 80 lakhs was received when after 1st October 2020. So TCS shall be applicable on 15th October. And on what value? On entire 80 lakh? No. Up to 50 lakh there is no TCS. Only on balance 30 lakh TCS shall be attracted at the rate of 0.75%. Correct? Correct. So let's move to case study 3. Now see the query. Is TCS applicable if entire consideration received prior to October 20? Prior to applicability of TCS, you have sold the goods. Prior to the applicability of TCS, you have received the money. See this. My turnover in the preceding financial year was 25 crore, greater than 10 crore. Okay, to this particular buyer, I sold goods on 80 lakh on 1st July 2020. Also, I have received consideration of 80 lakh by 30th September 20, prior to 1st October. My query to all of you, will the TCS be attracted? If yes, when and on what value? See the solution. TCS is applicable if consideration received per buyer exceed rupees 50 lakh but after 1st October 20. So if you receive any consideration after 1st October 20, then only TCS is applicable. In the given case, when I have received the consideration prior to October, everything I have received by 30th September. Hence, whatever amount I have received, there is no question of TCS. TCS shall not be applicable. TCS, when it is applicable, if consideration is received after 1st October 20. So here, no TCS. Let's move to the complicated case study 4. See, this is little bit complicated. Is TCS applicable if part consideration received prior to October and part consideration received after October? See the query. My turnover 100 crore in the preceding year. To this particular buyer or receiver, I sold goods of 52 lakh on 1st of July. What happened? He paid 48 lakh by 30th September. Prior to applicability of TCS, he paid 48 lakh. And on balance, whatever 4 lakh was there, he paid after 1st October. So some consideration is received before 1st October. Some consideration is received after 1st October. Will TCS be attracted? Also on what value? See this, what I told you. TCS is applicable where consideration received in a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh. Exceed rupees 50 lakh. Now, in the given case, financial year is 2021. 48 lakh is received in the same financial year and even 4 lakh is received in the same financial year. So it is exceeding 50 lakh. Okay. So total consideration received is 48 lakh prior to October and 4 lakh after October, same financial year. Hence total consideration received is 52 lakh. TCS shall be applicable. On what value? Up to 50 lakh, no TCS. Only on balance 2 lakh, TCS shall be applicable. Even if certain amount you have received after October and that total amount in a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh, TCS will be applicable on the value above rupees 50 lakh. Okay, so this is the main point which will create lot of complication, this case study 4. Now comes one good point. Case study 5. Is TCS applicable if goods sold for more than 50 lakh but consideration received is less than 50? How is that possible? See the query. My turnover in the preceding financial year is 18 crore. How much it is? 18 crore. To this particular buyer, I have sold goods of 51 lakh in November 20 after TCS. Okay, he paid me only 48 lakh. Balance rupees 3 lakh, it may be discount or it may be bad debts, whatever. So how much consideration I received? Only 48 lakh in April 21. Okay, will TCS be attracted? If yes, on what value? What do you suggest? Will TCS be attracted? See, TCS is applicable if consideration received is in excess of 50 lakh. Yeah, how much consideration I have received? Only 48 lakh. Sale of goods is immaterial. How much consideration is received? Only 48 lakh, less than 50 lakh. TCS shall not be attracted. TCS shall not be attracted. Sale of goods may be 50 lakh, 60 lakh, it's immaterial. How much consideration you have received is material. TCS shall not be attracted. Okay. Now next query. Case study 6 we will discuss. Is TCS applicable on GST? Charge with the tax invoice. This is common query which every client is going to ask you. Whether on GST also TCS is applicable. Try to understand. My turnover in the preceding financial year is 1000 crore. 1000 crore greater than 10 crore. To this buyer, our sold goods of 1 crore plus 18% GST on 1st of December 20. 1st December 20, 1 crore plus 18% GST. He paid me entire 1.18 crore in December itself. How much I have received? 1.18 crore. 1 crore is net amount. 18 lakh is GST. My query. On what value TCS shall be attracted? Will it be on only on 1 crore? Or will it be on even GST of 18 lakhs? So total 1.18 crore. What is your opinion? What do you think? See this. TCS is applicable where consideration in relation to sale of good in a financial year exceed 50 lakh. You all agree? Now, what do you mean by consideration? CBDT, income tax has clarified in circular number 17 dated 29 September. TCS is on consideration. Now, the consideration includes net amount also and it includes GST also. So TCS shall be applicable on entire 1.18 crore. Even on GST, TCS is applicable. TCS is applicable. Okay, so it will be tax on tax, but don't worry, you will get that benefit again. Now, case study 7. Is TCS applicable on freight, insurance charge, which I recover from the buyer? I charge it in my invoice itself and I'm recovering. Will TCS be applicable on that also? See the query. My turnover again 1000 crore. To this particular buyer, I've sold goods of 1 crore. Okay, and now I've given the transportation also, so I'm recovering freight and insurance also. Say of rupees 2 lakh. And I've charged GST on entire 1 crore 2 lakh. GST is charged on entire 1 crore 2 lakh. Okay, so if you add all this, it comes to 1.14 crore. So recipient paid me 1.14 crore in December 20. All the amount he paid me in December 20. My query, will TCS be applicable on 1 crore or on 1.14 crore? Even on freight, insurance, GST, everywhere TCS shall be applicable. What is the discussion? TCS is applicable where consideration exceed in a financial year greater than 50 lakh. Correct? CBDT in a circular has already clarified that TCS is on consideration and consideration include net amount plus freight plus insurance plus GST. So whatever I recover from my buyer, whatever I recover from my receiver is a consideration. TCS shall be applicable on entire amount of 1.14 crore. Okay, so these are the common queries which all the client are going to ask you. Let's move to next case study. Case study 8. Is TCS applicable for consideration of less than 50 lakh received in more than one financial year? See this question, very important. My turnover in the preceding year 200 crore. To this particular buyer or receiver are sold goods of 80 lakh on 1st December. See, the value of the sale is greater than 50. But what happened? In the financial year 2021, he paid me 35 lakh out of 80 lakh. And in the subsequent financial year, he paid me 45 lakh. Okay, so my query to all of you, assume that I have not sold goods in financial year 21-22 to the same buyer. No sales in next financial year. Will TCS be attracted? See, sale of goods is greater than 50 lakh, but consideration is less than 50 lakh in each year. See, TCS is applicable where consideration in relation to sale of good in a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh. Now, in the given case, in financial year 2021, he has paid me 35 lakh. It is less than 50 lakh. Hence, there is no TCS. And even in subsequent financial year, he paid me 45 lakh. Again, consideration is less than 50 lakh, even in financial year 21-22. Hence, TCS shall not be applicable in financial year 2021 and even in financial year 21-22, TCS shall not be applicable. Why? because consideration received in each financial year is less than 50 lakh. Is less than 50 lakh. So many people may plan the consideration accordingly. You can change the financial. Clear? So this is a good option which you can select. Now case study 9. This is very common thing. Is TCS applicable for goods sold in more than one financial year, but consideration received in subsequent financial year? See the query. I am a supplier, turnover is 15 crore, greater than 10 crore. To this buyer, I sold goods of 80 lakh. When? In financial year 2021. He paid me money when? In 15th October 21. So financial year 21-22. Common query. When the TCS shall be attracted? Also on what value? What did I tell you? Sale of goods is immaterial. When I have received consideration? When I have received consideration? Consideration is received in financial year 21-22. Hence, TCS shall be applicable when? In 15th October 21. Whenever I receive the consideration, TCS shall be applicable. Correct? I have received how much? 80 lakhs. Up to 50 lakh, no TCS. And on balance 30 lakh, TCS at the rate of 0.75% or 1%, whatever. Okay. Now comes main query. Case study 10. Very important. Try to answer. Try to answer. Is TCS applicable for goods sold in more than one financial year, but consideration received in only one financial year? Didn't understand? See this. My turnover 15 crore in the preceding year. To this buyer, I sold goods of 40 lakh in financial year 2021. Okay, assume after October. And in subsequent financial year 21-22, I sold goods of 20 lakh. Now what happened? What happened? This buyer paid me entire 40 plus 20, 60 lakh in financial year 22-23. Now, goods are 40 lakh and 20 lakh belong to some financial year. Consideration of 60 lakh is received in some another financial year. Will TCS be attracted? What do you think? See, understand the language. TCS is applicable where consideration received in a financial year exceed 50 lakh. Date of sale of goods is total immaterial. Total immaterial. Consideration of rupees 60 lakh. I have received in financial year 22-23 greater than 50 lakh. Hence, TCS shall be applicable in financial year 22-23 because I have received more than 50 lakh. I have received 60 lakh. So up to 50 lakh, no TCS. And on balance 10 lakh, TCS at the rate of 1%, 0.1% will be applicable. TCS at the rate of 0.1% will be applicable. Correct? So date of sale of goods, totally forget. Just think only one point. Whenever you receive consideration from that buyer, that date will attract TCS if it is greater than 50 lakh for that particular buyer. Now case study 11. Is TCS applicable for advances received in relation to sale of goods? See this. My turnover preceding financial of 45 crore. From this buyer, from this receiver, I had actually sold the goods of 70 lakh in 21-22. Okay. When did I sell the goods? Financial year 21-22. But he had paid me advance money of rupees 60 lakh in November 2020 in financial year 2021. So when did I sell? 21-22. When did I receive advance? Financial year 2021. When the TCS will be attracted? Financial year 21-22 or in financial year 2021? What do you think? Only one thing focus. TCS is applicable on consideration. TCS is applicable on consideration in a financial year when it exceeds 50 lakh. Now, when did I receive consideration? Consideration include advances. When did I receive consideration? In financial year 2021. Okay, so TCS shall be applicable itself in financial year 2021. It is immaterial whenever I sell the goods, just focus on consideration. So how much I have received? Up to 50 lakh, no TCS, and assume I have received 70 lakh. On balance 20 lakh, TCS shall be applicable at the rate of 0.1%. Assume consideration was also 70 lakh, not 60, and that was mistake. 70 lakh. So up to 50 lakh, no TCS. And on balance 20 lakh, TCS shall be applicable at 0.1%. Correct? So just focus only on one thing. Whenever you receive consideration above rupees 50 lakh from that buyer, TCS applicable. When you sell the goods, immaterial. Totally immaterial. Correct? Now next case study. This is again a common point. Is TCS applicable on loans or advance for business? Just loans, monetary loan, term loan, working capital loan, whatever. So say my turnover in the preceding year is 45 crore. To this buyer, I was supposed this buyer just paid me loan or advance for business. Recipient had given me what? Loans or advance for business. There is no sale of goods. There is no sale of goods. I have taken working capital loan, term loan, or some advance for business money. I have not sold any goods. How much I have received? 60 lakh in November 2020. Will TCS be attracted? There is no sale of goods, only loan. Now, when the TCS is attracted, where consideration in relation to sale of goods for the particular buyer in a financial year exceed rupees 50 lakh. In the given case, I have not sold any goods. There is a consideration, but it's not in relation to sale of goods. Hence, TCS shall not be applicable. So when you borrow loan, term loan, working capital loan, or even advance for some business temporary, TCS shall not be applicable. It should be in relation to sale of goods. Correct? Now case study 13, again important point. Is TCS applicable on sale of immovable property? Suppose I am a supplier to this particular buyer. I am selling what? Say building, entire building, shopping mall, whatever, or some residential flat or commercial property, or you can say shops. This I am selling to the particular buyer for rupees 5 crore in December 20. When I am selling in December 2020. Correct? So amount is greater than 50 lakh. Now, will TCS be attracted? Will TCS be attracted? Listen carefully. TCS is applicable where consideration in relation to sale of good exceed 50 lakh. Is immovable property included in the definition of goods? Read the definition. Definition of goods include every kind of movable property subject to some exception. It doesn't say movable property. It says every kind of movable property. It doesn't say movable property. Immovable property is outside the definition of goods. Since it is outside the definition of goods, there is no question of TCS. TCS shall not be applicable on sale of immovable property. Okay, so a big relief for the builders and all. Big relief. Now case study 14. Suppose I'm a broker or a company. I'm selling shares, mutual fund and commodities. Say I'm a supplier. I'm selling this to this recipient, shares, mutual fund or some commodity. You have this market online. Will TCS be applicable? Assume greater than 50 lakh. I have sold to this buyer or shares. Will TCS be applicable? Understand. Understand. See, whenever I sell the shares, mutual fund market, there is no one-to-one contract between company and the buyer. I am a broker. Tata Limited shares are sold to this buyer. Is there a one-to-one contract? No. There is no one-to-one contract between buyer and the seller. No one-to-one contract. And CBDT has hence clarified that TCS shall not be applicable on the sale of shares, mutual fund or commodities. There is no one-to-one contract between Tata Limited and this recipient. I have just facilitated that. Okay, so TCS shall not be applicable. Good point. Big relief, TCS will not be applicable on shares, mutual fund and commodity. Okay, now one more specific sector they are asking, is TCS applicable on sale of jewelry? Jewelry पे भी TCS आता है, understand? Say I'm a supplier to this recipient, I have sold jewelry or diamond rings or whatever. Each jewelry is so costly. Say to this buyer I have sold for 75 lakh. 75 lakh in December 20. Will TCS be applicable in case of sale of jewelry? See, TCS is applicable where consideration in relation to sale of good exceed 50 lakh. Is jewelry included in the definition of goods? Answer is yes. See, goods include every kind of movable property subject to some exception. This is not covered under any exception. Jewelry, diamond ring, pearls, they're all covered in the definition of goods. Hence, TCS shall be attracted on the sale of jewelry. There is no exemption. There is no exemption. TCS shall be attracted. Now, next case study, see this. Is TCS applicable on export of goods? Suppose I am a supplier. I'm exporting goods of rupees 5 crore outside India. Okay, from to this USA buyer. See this? I've exported goods. Okay. Now, do I need to collect TCS from this buyer outside India? What do you think? TCS is not applicable for following transaction. There are some exemptions given by government. See this. Suppose if I export the good, TCS is not applicable. Whatever foreign currency or Indian currency I get, no TCS. Similarly, if I sell goods within India and the buyer is central government, state government, embassy, high commission, no TCS. Okay. Now suppose third point, I sell goods within India to a local authority. Whatever consideration I get, I cannot collect TCS on. And next, suppose I sell following goods. Now on this section, on this goods, TCS is already applicable under 206C. There is already a specific provision. So on following goods, TCS of this section shall not be applicable. Example 1, alcoholic liquor. If I sell for more than 50 lakh to a particular buyer, TCS shall not be attracted under this section because already there is TCS under 206C. Correct? Similarly, there is scrap. Already there is 1% TCS in some other section. Hence, this TCS shall not be attracted. Next, suppose if I sell motor vehicle above rupees 10 lakh, above rupees 10 lakh to a particular buyer, TCS shall not be attracted under this section because there is already a specific section for it. But below 10 lakh rupees if you sell and total value exceed 50 lakh, then the TCS shall be attracted under this section. Okay. Next, suppose if I sell coal and ignite oil, TCS shall not be applicable. Tindu leaves and timber. If I sell this, even though value is greater than 50 lakh from a particular buyer, TCS under this section shall not be applicable because there is already TCS under some other section. Okay. Next important way. Is TCS applicable on branch transfer of goods? Assume I have two branches, one branch in Maharashtra and another branch in Delhi. Okay, I transfer goods from my branch in Maharashtra to my branch in Delhi. Value of the goods was 80 lakh. Value of the goods was 80 lakh rupees. Since it is my own branch, am I mad? Why will I take consideration? So there is no consideration. Is TCS applicable on branch transfer of goods? Am I liable to collect TCS from my branch? Understand. TCS is applicable where consideration received exceeds 50 lakh. Have I received any consideration? No, there is no consideration in case of branch transfer. Since there is no consideration, there is no question of TCS. TCS shall not be applicable. Okay, but similar line, I have one more question. Case study 8. Is TCS applicable if I sell goods? There is no my own branch transfer. Now I'm selling goods to a buyer who has more than one branch. Understand? Suppose I'm a seller, supplier. He is a buyer. Now this buyer has two branches, one in Maharashtra, another in Delhi. This buyer has two branches. Okay, now on his understanding, I sell goods in Maharashtra of rupees 45 lakh to his branch. And on his understanding, I sell goods to him in his Delhi branch of rupees 15 in July 20. Okay, so to the same person, I have sold goods of 45 lakh and to the same person, I have again sold goods of 15. So total is 60 lakh. Only branches are different. Is TCS applicable in this case? Or can I argue that branches are different, so there is no question of TCS? See, PAN will be same of the receiver. Person is same. Only branches are different. Understand? TCS is applicable where consideration received in relation to sale of good for a receiver exceeding rupees 50 lakh. In the given case, this recipient or buyer whose name is Mr. A, his PAN is same. In Maharashtra branch also he has same PAN card. In Delhi branch also he has same PAN card. So both the branch shall be counted as single receiver. Both the branch shall be counted as single receiver. Hence, since the value is greater than 50 lakh, TCS in this case shall be applicable. TCS in this case shall be applicable. Up to 50 lakh, no TCS. And on balance 10 lakh, TCS shall be applicable at the rate of 0.1%. At the rate of 0.1%. Correct? So this is the main point. See, you have to understand PAN card wise, not branch wise. If a particular recipient has 100 branches, but PAN is same, it will be counted as one receiver only. Correct? Now case study 19. Someone is arguing this TCS is additional burden on receiver. 0.1% they will lose it. This receiver is complaining to the government. Why should I bear this 0.1%? Why should I give this 0.075%? This is an additional burden. Now what government says? Understand. Say I'm a supplier. He is a receiver. I'm selling goods to him. Okay. He paid me net amount also. And he paid me this TCS also. Now, whatever TCS I collect from the receiver, can I keep in my pocket? No, boss. Whatever TCS I have collected, I have to pay to the government. Okay, and I have to upload one TCS return form 27EQ, where I will give detail that I have collected TCS from this receiver. This is his PAN card. And on the basis of this return, this receiver will get the refund in his 26 AS. This receiver will get the refund in his 26 years. So what is the conclusion? I'm collecting TCS. Seller is collecting TCS and paying to the government. Okay, he will file one form 27EQ, give the PAN card of receiver, and on that basis, receiver will get the refund of it. So this is temporary blockage of fund, nothing. Okay. Now, what is the due date for the payment of TCS? This TCS which I have collected, I have to pay to the government now. So what is the due date? Every day I have to pay? No, there is some due date. Understand? Suppose I am a supplier, I am questioning to the government that whatever TCS I have collected, when I am required to pay, due date is what? 7th of the subsequent month. So what in entire month, whatever TCS I have collected, I have to pay on 7th of the subsequent month. Example, suppose in October 2020, I have collected TCS from various suppliers. Every day I'm not going to pay. Entire TCS I will pay by 7th of November. Only 7th of November 2020. Suppose I have collected TCS in Jan 21 from 100 of buyers. Whatever TCS I have collected, I will pay that in one single challan in 7th Feb 2021. Challan is 281. Challan is what? 281. Okay. See, in order to make the payment, you have to go to this website, Income Tax India efiling.gov.in. Click here on e-pay tax. This is how you need to pay TCS. Huh? Click on e-pay tax, and now it will take you to the website and see this. Challan 281. You can see you have to pay TCS through this challan. Challan 281. You will select proceed, and then see if the buyer is a company, then select company. If buyer is individual or partnership firm LLP, then select non-company. Okay, and then you have to select this 200 TCS payable by taxpayer. If it's under assessment, then it is 400, but normal it will be 200. Once you select this 200, click on nature of payment. Go to the last point, TCS on sale of goods. You have to select this. And whatever TCS is there, you need to make the payment. Understand? So every 7th of subsequent month, whatever TCS you have collected, you need to make the payment. Clear? So now let's move to next case study. What shall be the consequence if I don't collect the TCS, or I collect but don't pay the TCS? Suppose I have sold the goods of rupees 60 lakh. He paid the money of 60 lakh in October 20. So TCS is there on rupees 10 lakh. I was required to collect TCS on 10 lakh, but I failed to collect. I didn't know the provision. Or I have collected, but I'm not paying to the government by 7th of November. Neighbor, no? So what shall be the consequences? Consequences, I shall be liable to interest at the rate of 1% per month. How much ever I delay, interest shall be applicable at the rate of 1% per month. From which date? From the date on which I was required to collect TCS, means October 2020, till the date I actually make the payment of TCS. Say I paid in March. So from October 2020, when I became liable, till the date of March 2021, I shall be paying interest at the rate of 1% per month. Suppose I pay in March, 1st of March or 2nd of March, part of the month shall also be counted as full month. Interest shall be applicable for entire month. Even if you pay part of the month, interest applicable on entire. Okay, so interest is there, huh? Correct? Next, what is the due date? This form 27EQ is there. What is the due date for filing TCS return in form 27EQ? Okay, so suppose I am a supplier, I have collected TCS, I have paid. Now to give the PAN details and all, I have to file one return known as TCS, then only buyer will get refund. TCS return I have to file every quarterly. Every quarter, not monthly, every quarterly. Suppose the quarter is April to June, I have to file within 15 days, 15 July. Suppose the quarter is July to September, I have to file within next 15 days, 15th October. Suppose the quarter is October to December, I have to file within next 15 days, 15th of Jan. But for the final quarter, closing quarter, Jan to March, I have been given 45 days. So I have to file TCS return by 15th May 2020. Okay, so 15 May 2021, sorry. Okay, so this is the quarterly return which I have to file. I have to give details of each receiver from whom I have collected TCS. And on the basis of this return, he will get the refund. Okay, and suppose if I forget, what shall be the consequence? I failed to file TCS return, time nahi tha. So what will the consequence? What will government do? What shall be the penalty? See, penalty shall be attracted just like TDS. Here also penalty is there under section 234E. Penalty shall be 200 rupees per day from the due date of TCS return till the date of actual filing. 200 rupees per day under section 234E. But one relaxation, such penalty shall not exceed the amount of TCS. Did you understand? Example, suppose the TCS I was liable to pay 5,000. TCS I have paid but I have forgotten to file return. So how much TCS return was there? 5,000. Now, my delay was for say 100 days. I delayed in filing return for 100 days. Per day 200 is there. In 200. So actual, my penalty should be 20,000. But what relaxation is given? What relaxes? Such penalty shall not exceed the amount of TCS. The amount of TCS is how much? 5,000. So even though I have delayed for 100 days, I was liable to pay 20. Because of this relaxation, my TCS penalty shall be only rupees 5,000. Okay, so it is 200 rupees per day subject to the TCS applicable in the return. Correct? Now let's do the summary of the entire topic of TCS. TCS is applicable when I receive the consideration. It's immaterial whenever I've sold the goods, totally immaterial. Second point, my turnover in the preceding financial year should be greater than 10 crores. Okay. Third, receipt of the consideration from that buyer should be greater than rupees 50 lakh. Greater than rupees 50 lakh. Then only TCS is applicable on amount exceeding 50 lakh. What is the rate of TCS? 0.1%. But just because of COVID-19, this TCS rate is relaxed till 31st March 21 to 0.075% for temporary period. What is the due date of payment of TCS? 7th of subsequent month. Whatever I collect every month on subsequent month, I have to pay. Then I have to file one TCS return which is quarterly, 15th of the subsequent month. Only for the closing quarter Jan to March, I get 45 days, 15th May 2021. Okay. If I make late payment of TCS, I have to pay 1% interest per month. Part of the month is as good as full month. If I late file the TCS return, penalty is 200 per day, subject to the maximum TCS in it. Okay. Now, whatever return I file, recipient will get benefit, credit in his 26 AS. Correct? Now, TCS is applicable on the consideration. Consideration include GST also. Consideration include freight, insurance, everything. So, in short, whatever amount I recover from the receiver or buyer, TCS shall be applicable on entire. TCS is also applicable on advances in relation to sale of goods. On loan and other TCS is not applicable. But if I receive advance, TCS is applicable. Okay. And if I sell the jewelry, TCS is applicable, but it is included in the definition of good. So in jewelry, TCS is applicable. If I sell immovable property, thank God TCS is relaxed because goods means every kind of movable property. Then TCS is not applicable on sale of shares, mutual fund, commodity, and also TCS is not applicable on export of goods. Okay, so this was the entire case study topic of the tax collected at source. For CA student, cost accounting and CA student. Okay, whether inter or final, I am going to start one pen drive e-learning lectures. So whosoever want to learn GST, entire GST, they can order this pen drive. All the recordings will be there, lectures will be there, and even notes will be there. आपके पूरे एग्जाम के क्वेश्चंस एंड सारे नोट्स उसमें कवर होंगे. Which and even the office employees who want to seek GST knowledge, practical filing of GST returns, e-way bill, कैसे GST number लेना, and even consultant who want higher knowledge, they can all order for this e-recording lectures. आपको मैं pen drive दे दूंगा, you can use it. Correct? And all the notes will be given. Now, what are the topics that will be there in this pen drive? Okay, entire GST like introduction and supply, place, value, time of supply, ITC का पूरा detail में, registration, reverse charge, imports, job work, all this topic including e-way bill, advance ruling, anti-profit, latest case laws होंगे advance ruling के with their verdict, assessment, inspection, demand, recovery and GST returns वो भी वहाँ पे cover होगा. And some specific sector like cooperative housing society ka GST, how it works, education industry, how it works, and few exam will also be taken, case studies lecture. ये सब recorded होगा, आपको खुद KBC गेम की तरह के खेलना है. करेक्ट. एंड मैंने कुछ 5 एग्जाम क्वेश्चंस भी है May 19, वो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, वो मेंबर्स के लिए नहीं है. एंड सम लाइव लेक्चर्स फॉर डाउट सॉल्विंग. जो भी आपके डाउट होगा यू कैन मेल एंड वी कैन हैव इट ऑन Zoom. ओके, सी हाउ टू टेक GST रजिस्ट्रेशन, ये भी आपको सीखने मिलेगा बिकॉज एवरीथिंग विल बी रिकॉर्डेड इन इट. ओके, देन हाउ टू प्रिपेयर एन ई-वे बिल, कौन से केस में ई-वे बिल बनता है, कैसे आपको ई-वे बिल वेबसाइट पे करना है, वो भी सारा रिकॉर्डेड होगा which you can learn through this pen drive lectures. And proper filing of GST returns, वो भी आपको A to Z वो pen drive lectures में मिलेगा. GSTR 3B कैसे भरते हैं, GSTR 1 कैसे करते हैं, वो सारा रिकॉर्डिंग वहां पे होगा through FAQs, so that you people enjoy. ओके, अगर आप इंटर CA स्टूडेंट हो, ये पेन ड्राइव का कॉस्ट होगा 2299 पर पेन ड्राइव. फाइनल CA स्टूडेंट हो तो 2599, क्योंकि उसमें काफी एडिशनल टॉपिक्स होंगे. एंड अगर आप ऑफिस एम्प्लॉय एंड प्रोफेशनल हो, आपको वो केटरिंग सेक्टर, देन कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर एंड अदर सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक चाहिए एंड प्रैक्टिकल फाइलिंग ऑफ GST रिटर्न सब चाहिए, तो आपके लिए कॉस्ट होगा 289. करेक्ट. आप मुझे व्हाट्सअप कर सकते हो ये नंबर पे, एंड देन ईमेल भी है इफ यू नीड दिस पेन ड्राइव. Okay, so thank you so much each and everyone. This was today's topic. Again, I will keep introducing new lectures. जो भी latest update होगी आप मेरे YouTube channel पे देख पाओ. Thank you so much each and everyone. Goodbye.